Good afternoon. Truth Disclosure 369 in the house once again. Coming for everyone who comes across this video with the universal greeting words of peace. It's been a couple of days since I've been on here. Just wanted to get on here and share my little 2 cents. But ain't looking too good in some aspects of our reality. But what I can say is that you can almost feel the desperation in the air from masses of people who just tired of this nonsense, tired of the crap that's going on that can't be justified, but yet it's still going on. It's sad, but it's the reality. But I just wanted to stop by and drop a little something on via YouTube on here. Yesterday there was breaking news dealing with I'm gonna go to the article dealing with Jeffrey Epstein, one of his cohorts, found dead in a cell in a prison cell, sort of similar to circumstances around Jeffrey Epstein himself. Jeffrey Epstein pal Jean-Luc Brunel, who abused Prince Andrew, sex slave Virginia Roberts, found hanged in prison. Now, Prince Andrew is the one, is the son of Queen Elizabeth and one who just settled for, was it 10 million or 12 million? In the suit against him by Virginia Roberts, who was 17 at the time when all this interaction went down between Jeffrey Epstein, this guy, and also Ghislaine Maxwell. The other part of this, Webb, who's also awaiting sentencing for the crimes she was convicted of. So here it is. You have Jeffrey Epstein's pal has been found dead in prison. You know, the disgraced fashion agent was found hanged last night in his prison cell at La Santa in Paris. The disgraced fashion, you know, they called Jeffrey Epstein a disgraced mogul, and they call Ghislaine Maxwell a disgrace as well. They throw this around a lot, but shit, they need a lot more. They need to throw this on a lot more people and a lot more individuals out here holding titles, especially when you go in governments, when you go in law enforcement. they need to throw that name or that title around right along with the rest of them. There's a lot of disgraceful human beings or so-called human beings in the world as we speak that are in cahoots with a lot of this crap that's going on. But here it is. As you in this picture, you can see Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine right there. And then this is Brunel. So that's one update. You know, it really makes no sense to even go into this because no matter about what they said happened and this, that, and the third, people who got sense and know that move off of third eye intuition, already know what's at hand. The cards are falling around. Even in this instant, we know that during Jeffrey Epstein's demise, so-called demise in where he was at, all of the controversy that came out after his death, dealing with how the guards and administration at that facility handled everything, and people were suspended. I don't even think, I'm not sure, but I have to get back on this. I think they fired a couple of people. I'm not sure. Don't bank me on that. But the whole thing is fishy around Jeffrey Epstein's death in prison. So it leads, there's nothing different about this. Me personally, I don't even believe this man is gone, man. And to be honest, the same thing probably holds true with it. These people hold a lot of people's names. They have a lot of information. They have a lot of stuff, which could be the reason why a person could be snuffed out. These people have been communicating with and involved with various incidents that includes a lot of top-headed people in governments. We learned about it, it has, we don't even have to speak on whether a person was a real estate mogul or artist or this, that, and the third. We're talking about government officials, those who are deemed tasked, elected in theory to perform the task of representing the people and their wishes throughout the governing body, wherever you may be at, unless you just live in a world or a country where motherfuckers just rule by decree and how, and to step up and say, hey, I'm the emperor, I'm the king, I'm this, that, and the third, and do it like that, blatantly out in the open. It really doesn't matter, because a lot of that stuff is being done covertly, has been done covertly, and ignorance and sorcery, hypnotizing people, thinking that shit that they're backing and okaying has their best interest at heart, and in actuality is ruled by decree. So I doubt this man is gone. They have to, whatever's going on, and which leads to the whole question about Ghislaine Maxwell, who's awaiting her sentencing. What would be, and there's some other legal issues headed down the way. The last information that basically was on this was that a lot of the stuff was dealing with trying to get the case thrown out in a new trial, because the one juror who had, contradicting things going on within their past, that they shouldn't have been on the jury in the first place, but yet they was allowed to be on the jury pool, knowing full well they were also at one time victimized as youth. This was something that's shouldn't have happened, because now you have a possibility of getting a person who had done so much wrong, that's linked with other people's, to be held accountable and responsible for some of this stuff. And then, they're going to use everything to try and keep this stuff under the rug, keep it short but sweet. But the reality of it is, we know that these individuals were part of a web, and a lot of government officials and officials that people look up to, or people sort of have respect for, are in that web. So no, I don't believe this guy is gone. I believe whatever happened to Epstein is the same thing that happened to him. They're kind of trying to keep stuff quiet, especially in a time when they know there's a massive awakening amongst individuals in the world. That being said, you gotta try and cross your T's and dot your I's the best way you can. So we'll see what happens to that in this situation, because this came out of nowhere amongst all the other stuff that's transpiring as we speak. Let me see. And these articles are online. Go in and see it for yourself. And they even got pedophile Epstein's Caribbean Isle, where he have a house, a mansion, or where he used to do a lot of his stuff. But they even call him a pedophile. But you got all these other people that have done things, that have visited this island, that have done things they weren't supposed to do, have literally entertained those people who claim their moral virtues and this and that in the world, and stand before people and act like they're this and that, but they're involved in stuff like this. So we'll see what happens. And I'm gonna close out of that. So we got this going on, and of course, we all know what else is going on. The constant before I go there, I'm gonna share this one before I speak on the next subject that I wanted to speak on. I'm gonna share this real quick. Jeffrey, yeah, pimp. And this is another article out of the Daily Mail. Jeffrey Epstein's pimp, Jean-Luc Brunel, hangs himself alone in Paris jail with no CCTV. So, in a world where you got liars and hypocrites running shit, you see agendas running rampant. You see hypocrisy at its fullest. You see people being told one thing while those that are doing the telling are doing others. You can't really respect anything when the media is telling you, hangs himself alone in Paris jail with no CCTV. Of course, no CCTV. So you'll never know what really happened. But like I said, I don't believe he's deceased, as well as Jeffrey Epstein. As truth starts getting clearer and the light starts focusing on dark areas in our world that have been hidden or rarely visited, more and more of this shit gonna start coming out. More and more. So moving on from that, you already know we got this Ukraine and Russia thing going on. It just seems like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it seems like all of the media is focused here on Ukraine and Russia. Of course, COVID is moving out of the picture for now. But everything going on with Russia and Ukraine is beginning to shape the narrative now on mainstream media, to the point that all we hear is Russia is about to do this, Russia is about to do that, Russia is here, Russia is about to do that. They're shelling here, they're shelling there. Every time we hear excerpts from Biden, is always they're going to invade tomorrow. They're going to invade 2 days from now. They're going to invade last week. And this is the shit that that's just, you just keep hearing. And you get shit like this that's put out here, you know, not only in American media, but in media across the, because all media is directly uh, influenced and controlled by the same source. No matter what country you may be in, mainstream media is a tool. Um, but this article here, let me share it. Okay. Now you'll get stuff like this: Ukraine, Russia. This is BBC. Russia plans biggest war in Europe since 1945. You know, out of all the times Russia could have been planned the biggest war, even when Russia was part of the Soviet Union, when it was a bigger spread of land to cover, you know, with all these different jurisdictions a part of it. They choose now in 2022 to plan the biggest war, according to the same hypocrite who was telling all his people to lock down while he had parties drinking booze. And you know, they always say the evidence. They always say the evidence suggests. But you know, the people never know truly what that evidence is. They never really tell people or show people the evidence. Just like a lot of the evidence that was used in this whole pandemic to justify stuff. The evidence that was used in the Iraq debacle in the first place. You know, the evidence that was so-called weapons of mass destruction. I mean, people gotta look at this for what it is. So, you know, they're spreading all this stuff. They're getting the attention away from the pandemic now. I guess they'd have made enough money off of murdering people and slick indoctrinating people into an enslaved state, tyrannically. Hold on 1 minute. Come out of there. Tyrannically abusing their authority, their roles in authority positions. And so, you know, that's all you're hearing right now is and of course you're going to hear that more than you will about people in Canada, human beings in Canada who have been stepping up against their government, and the ridiculousness of tyrannical control and the legitimizing of it, and actually people actually going for it. But you know, people up in the, you know, in Canada, you know, sat here and watched over the last couple of days what's been going on ever since they you know, the blockades at the bridge, you know, all this stuff, man. Everybody with sense know what this is about. It's about money, it's about control. You know, like I said a couple of days ago, they wouldn't have never cared about the border in Detroit in Canada if it hadn't been for corporations saying it, you know, and corporations speaking up about money they won't be able to make, or this, that, and the third, which made it a point to administer all these different acts that, according in Canada, is shit that they haven't used since war times. you know, which is kind of crazy. Why would you put something into effect that was used during violent conflicts, when nothing during the protests was violent? Only violence I've seen so far was the violence that was being undertaken by authorities upon some of these protesters who was speaking out and just speaking the truth the way they see it. And the truth that they represent I resonate on that as a human being here in this country. Um, Over the weekend, they've been moving out protesters, arresting protesters. I've seen on some of the live feeds, military personnel, retired veterans. You know, they getting treated like crap, just like everybody else. So I guess all that we support veterans and all that went out the door. But a lot of them were being manhandled. They were shooting off tear gas. They also had pepper spray. Excuse me, they wasn't using tear gas as of yet, but they were prepared with the masks and everything else. But the most thing they was doing was using blunt force, police wielding batons, and also pepper spray with snipers and what's so forth spread out on the rooftops in different parts of that downtown area in Ottawa. It's a sad to see how they done this, and they're basically all the trucks basically had to move because they see how it is. They want to maintain a peaceful demonstration, even with the with the overwhelming obstacles you have to face, which is a tyrannical government using the police authority as a means to try and check and silence those who basically calling out what is being called out all over the planet. and people know about it here in America, about all these fake ass rulers and leaders and shit that want to just do stuff under their own power and decree. And long as they got people riding with them, and long as they have a message out here distorted and it is shipped around the planet via propaganda, which is mainstream media, they can always have those who will continue to feel like that what they're speaking about holds their best interest. When majority of the people who woke know what's up, and they speak out for those who still in blind, man. And that's the sad. That's why peaceful protest is a good thing to an extent, and then it becomes to a point where what else? What else is there to do? I mean, you sit here seeing it for what it is. I mean, the only thing, other thing else, possibly that could be done to help remedy a situation, and I spoke on that, it's like everybody got to come to a stop. Everybody got to stop spending money with this shit, stop filing taxes, stop even acknowledging these governments for what they are until motherfuckers start answering serious questions and start acting like they have the well-being of people at heart by telling the truth, by being transparent. Simple stuff, checks and balances and all this other stuff. That shit went out the door. If you try and check, you get silenced or you get censored. But it's sad for humanity what's going on in Canada. But what Canada has shown is that they have done something in which they've started a movement all over, in which everybody's participating some kind of way in their own areas against this nonsense and this tyranny, this unjust tyranny that affects everybody, whether you want to believe it or not. And the sad part about it, those that don't want to believe it, those that think their government is still in line with and has their wishes in line, all you could do is just hopefully pray and send love and vibes so that they could see for themselves. Because the more shit that these people do, that's more of a draconian, outright heavy-handed tactic to shut people up, the more it awakens people. The more people see, okay, well, this ain't about COVID no more. This ain't about no damn pandemic no more. This ain't about no damn vaccines, no masks, None of this. This is not about none of that no more. This is totally into something else. You know, some other type of territory we in right now. And people know what it is. Folks been speaking on this shit years. And, you know, people, you know, may not have taken it seriously or however, man, but when you got elitists and you got a cabal and those that push for one world organizations or governments and all this shit, you see it right now in the making. But it's crazy. I hate it for them, what they're going through, because all of us on this planet are going through some of this same shit. Whether a person want to acknowledge it or not, we're going through some of the same stuff. It may affect us in our different region, in our different area differently than it affects someone else in another country, this, that, and so forth. But you're still affected. And you know, the beautiful thing about what I've seen with Canada is something that is so badly needed here in America, but America is so caught up under the division, under the guise of keep everybody fighting one another, keep everybody stuck in their own social, on their own social hamster wheel, running around in circles with the same talking points that have done no fucking good. And when in reality, those talking points have been put out here and you jumped on it, grabbed it, and just ran with it and refused to broaden or expand consciousness awareness to a point where you began to see that it's not just about being individuals separate from one another, but being a whole. Unity is the number one thing that the world needs. And in this country, in America, you know, it's so vividly clear that, you know, it's going to be a fight, a hard fought fight to unify everybody under the guise of love and of truly wanting all these answers to a lot of these questions that have been purposely left alone. Bring it out. We won't get through this until Black people begin to understand they must love one another as they will love themselves. We won't get through this unless white people understand that they must love themselves and others as they will love themselves. We won't get through this unless those who live other racial backgrounds and groupings and First Nation and indigenous individuals realize that we all have to look at each other as a part of self. Fuck what these labels and all this stuff has caused throughout these years. You gotta look at this shit as being a unifying concept in order to move forward, so that this bullshit that this cabal is doing across this planet could be noticed and could be exposed for what it is, and everybody could be put on guard on it. A lot of people are already on guard. It's just that those that refuse to see it for what it is, the thing about it, you continue to empower these, not yourself, but these elite groups who are working to destabilize not only your freedoms, but everybody else's freedoms, right along with you. If you're white, they don't give a fuck about you. They're trying to destabilize the freedom of yourself, your family, your children, just as much as they're doing it to a black person and their children and their family, just as much as they're doing it to a First Nation individual, their children, their family, just as much as our Hispanic and Latino families. Same thing. Everywhere they're doing this shit. There's a time, man, that even across national borders, everybody has to start looking at one another as part of one creation. These folks have run this planet into the ground, and the whole thing has been about fucking control, setting up these puppet governments, giving people an illusion to choose between right or left, when both sides are being controlled by a force in which everybody has unfortunately empowered. And incidents like what has been happening over the past several years have and up to now have truly shown the true colors of everything. So it's I'm totally with Canada on this, and anywhere else in the world. New Zealand, there are still things going on in New Zealand and Australia, as well as France and other places where there are movements where people are calling out some of this shit. And of course, these governments who are lapdogs for unseen hand are also doing the same crap that they were doing to, Canadians, vilifying, um, making it seem like they're all out here doing some the work of the devil, when how can the devil sit up here and call somebody else out talking about they're doing the work of the devil, and you see the work of the devil, and I don't see the work of the devil in people peacefully protesting, speaking their mind, holding their composure, acting professional at what they're doing, with love for one another as human beings, and the fact that freedom is more at stake than ever. People who know that being enslaved doesn't just mean being having fucking chains and being behind bars and all this shit. There are so many other ways of being enslaved, whether it's financial slavery. A lot of people are victims of that. Political slavery. All this stuff. Economic terrorism is the reason why a lot of people are in financial slavery right now. Motherfuckers can't really do shit they want to do and working. The sad thing about it, motherfuckers save, work, do all they can, man. But in a society in which motherfuckers got this shit doubled down, you'll end up throwing away half your damn half your savings on trying to just take a trip right now, because everything that went up. So I really feel for them, and anybody from Canada come across my videos, much love. A lot of the people know what you're fighting for and what you're speaking about. I am one of them. And eventually all countries gonna have to step up on this shit. All countries gonna have to step up. And the main thing, man, can't be fearful of none of this shit. Can't be fearful. The reality, a lot of the shit that's going on, is how Hitler got started. It's how different movements in the past and historically got started. That went through wiping out freedoms, and it's already been in a world where they've been hiding truths and this, that, and the third. You can't, how a person could take anything that these folks say as golden, with so many liars and hypocrites out here in the scientific field, in the educational field, in the religious field, in the political field. It's kind of amazing how you could even take any of that shit serious. So, like I keep saying this, everything they've lied about leaves room to other shit that could be possibility another lie. You know, so I just want to get on here and share this a little bit. I might get on a little bit later, but I got that news in from Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and his pimp. you know, hopefully the truth, which it ain't no hopefully to it, have solid faith that the truth will come out. And I'm getting out of saying that shit. The truth will come out. The truth will set everybody free. And before I go, I'm gonna just go to this last one I'm gonna share. Since I was already in all BBC, I'm gonna go right here. Queen tests positive for COVID. And you hear certain things, a lot of it rolling back, a lot of the COVID stuff, and you still got people catching it, but then you always get these elaborations behind it. Mild cold-like symptoms. And most of the people I've been hearing have been catching it over the last couple of months. This is what they constantly saying. This has always been associated with cold-like symptoms, man. It's almost like, it's the truth will set everybody free. Even when it comes to this, because no matter what these bogus health officials and all these liars and Fauci and all these fake motherfuckers say, there's something about this whole COVID thing that hasn't been sitting right. There has been some lies and mistruths and disinformation that has been put out by the same motherfuckers who trying to keep everybody quiet on what this really is and what it's been about. And that truth will be exposed for what it is. So the queen over there has, ironically, right after she put up money to pay for that settlement with Prince Andrew and Virginia Giuffre, but she has tested positive, and wonder how that's going to be handled and treated over there in the United Kingdom, but we remain to see. So many people have been lost to this whole thing right here, COVID, and all of the different attributes that affected different people throughout the last couple of years, start dating back to 2019, end of 2019, wherever part of the planet a person was on. A lot of people are not here because of this. Because of that word right there. Supposedly. And I know because, I know personally people who are not here no more, whose demise could be attributed to this. This right here has been the main driving force that has fucked this whole planet up for the last, and everybody is seeing the awakening and the shit in these governments and how it's directly tied in. I mean, this is what was bringing everybody out. And I just, hope everybody continues to stay focused on that. Those that don't see it, it's still love and respect as a human being, as a created part of the almighty, true, and living God. Whether you accept it or not, it's there. You can't take it away. And it can't no Trudeau or no Biden or no Trump or nobody else take that shit away, whoever they is. You know, like I said, I hate that people look at Trump as being a savior or a light of hope in this shit, but he's not. He's nothing but controlled opposition in a time in which people are looking for somebody to lead them out. People need to look within. Stand on truth. Stand on the principles in which divine laws and stuff. That's all. These governments and all this shit been strayed off of that shit. But I'm getting too far out there. I ain't gonna get out there. I'm gonna get off of here. I just wanted to share that. We human beings, we are on the biggest roller coaster ride probably ever been on right now. And you can feel the tension and you can feel the energy in the air. And just gotta try and stay above it and continue to stay rooted in individual truth. So with that, I'd like to just say send much love to everybody around this planet who are working in whatever way, shape, fashion, or form they may be doing it to enlighten and awaken people and help people see shit for what it is. And for those who are still asleep, much love, much respect to you. And that safety and security be a part of your daily routine. And, you know, there's always going to be the want that there will be a time when those that are sleeping will see it for what it is. Can't judge nobody, really. Can't call nobody stupid or ignorant because you can't really, because at one time I was that person. At one time, people that I know who are on the same are resonating on the same stuff, they were once those people. So just much love. This fight is going to get more and more out in the open. It's going to be seen more globally than ever before. And this is what needs to happen in order for change. But with that, I greet you as I came in the universal greetings of peace. Much love.